What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, I do real estate entrepreneur. And Monday, maybe 2 p.m. Just pulled up to a property that uh, this was a property that an out-of-state seller contacted us on 2015. Initially came out, looked at the property, and contracted the property, I believe, at 39,000 original contract. After about 2 days into the contract, I brought my sales lady out to view the property, and we ended up renegotiating the price on the property. I ended up renegotiating it back down to 33.5, which I was a lot more comfortable with. But needless to say, it was a property that we sent a letter, and it just so happened that this particular seller had came into town after we sent the letter. We sent the letter to the property address, which at the time didn't know was vacant. You know, we just target marketed, and just so happened one of the seller ended up calling us after he came into town, you know, from California, you know, where he resided at, came into town, but at the time we didn't know that, you know, this was a air property. So, you know, we just doing our normal forms of marketing. But seller contacted us, and he had actually came into town and had began putting up bandit signs. I mean, he was trying to sell the property on his own, and I guess when they came to the property to kind of clean up some of the junk or whatever, he found our letter and gave me a call. And it just so happened I happened to miss the call, but I was riding down the street and seen the bandit sign, and one way or another, you know, I called, confirmed it, and then I actually returned the phone call that I missed, and it was still the same seller. So, you know, ended up coming out, looking at the property, walking through it, and this is literally 2015 to this date in April, and I hadn't been to this property since then. We contracted it. Long story short, it was a probate. This guy's father was actually owned the property, married, and right maybe a few months before we contracted it, the father passed away, and this guy just thought he had he had a will, and you know, he was the executor on the estate, so he just assumed that he would be able to sell the property, you know, from what the will had described. You know, needless to say, and a lot of people do, you know, not to get too far in depth into it, but a lot of people think just because they have a will, their parent passed away, that in a situation like this one, the deceased had remarried, and his wife was actually still alive. She was in a nursing home, but she was still alive. So, you know, the seller thought that, you know, just because it was his father's property, he had the will, that the property he would have the rights to the property. Doesn't always happen like that. So in this case, we went through a long battle trying to get his father's wife on board with selling the property, which it was a long story, but couldn't get it done. You know, we couldn't get clear title on the property. Now, take it, this was 2015, and I believe maybe 2016 or so, we went down the roads of, you know, staying in contact ever so often. And he contacted me one day, and the wife had ended up passing away. So, you know, it was another situation where it was an heirship in that, you know, situation. So, fast forward, you know, I got a call a couple weeks ago, you know, and this is one of the things where you have to go the extra mile with in some of these motivated seller situations. You know, in our initial dealings, you know, when we found out the will was not just going to be good enough, you know, I put them in contact with the title company. You know, we went through our normal buying process, but he ended up needing a probate attorney. So we did that. You know, I put him in contact with a good probate attorney, and they continued moving down the process. And this was a property way back, you know, on the back burner, wasn't even thinking about it, hadn't even been to it. So literally, I'm standing here today for going this property for the first time in 2 years and see, you know, see how it looks. You know, the seller contacted me last week, you know, told me, hey, Jay, you know, we finally got the approval from the title company. Probate's been approved. And man, look, we are wanting to get this thing done. So I'm about to walk y'all through what this property looked like, and hopefully it hasn't changed, but just kind of show you the condition it was in when we initially walked through it, and just kind of walk through it myself again and reassure myself that it's a deal. So here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Nobody's home. Hope nobody's home. So what the hell? I guess this was a mirror. Okay, let me see if I can get my flashlight on her. Just make sure ain't nothing gonna jump out. But I can't even remember, and that's just how long it's been since I've been in this property. And I'm quite happy. I mean, man, they really cleaned it out for us. Cause I mean, this thing was full of all kind of stuff. But one of the things I noticed when we first walked into it was the foundation. I mean, it definitely had foundation issues. Nice deep closet. Had foundation issues, and the overall condition of the house was just dated. You know, just a dated house. Neighborhood not too far. I like the neighborhood. You know, one of the areas I've always been buying houses in here in East Fort Worth. So was already familiar with the area. And like I say, we had target marketed this particular seller just through our mail campaign, direct mail. And so kind of already know what the properties were selling for, things like that. But came in, and like I say, this house was full of all kind of stuff. And they had literally only been in the property maybe a couple hours prior to me coming over to take a look at it. When I called off of their bandit signs, they had literally put them up maybe earlier that morning. And just coincidence, man, that it turned out that it was a house that we had actually sent the letter, you know. So but so what do we got here? What was it? And I typically do a property sheet on each property that I go to. You know, just some formal information: bedrooms, bath, living area, square footage, condition, trash haul out, things like that. To where, and just in this instances where it's months later, I have something to go off of. I don't have it with me now. I just happen to stop by to see, you know, make sure nothing's changed, but I didn't bring my sheet with me. But just walking through it, and this was what made me actually contract the property, was this particular space here, because I'm not sure if this was an addition. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, yeah, it was an addition, but it actually had another second bath back there. So when I seen this, it was a no-brainer to me. Yep, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Gotta have it. This particular area, this neighborhood. I know what I could do with it. So came in. Seller was a little bit not familiar with the market, stuff like that, saying that they were from out of town. But you know, I reassured them that they was in good hands. You know, dealing with me, I'll make the process as easy as possible, and they initially signed the contract. So there was something up with this particular door. There we go. Make sure we ain't got no walls on there. Some of this stuff back here we just gonna have to tear down, because I think this was a lock. I don't even know. But start raining here, but as you can see, got a pretty deep lot. It goes back there, and came in, contracted the property, and I knew it was a deal for us, even though with the foundation and all the other things. And there was a lot more junky than this, so, and I believe that was one of the things they came in and done, and I just hadn't been to the property since then, but they was actually saying that, make sure the air conditioner is still over here. I know it is, just, I seen the shell, just make sure all the components are still in it. Because one thing about it, over this 2-year time frame, what the seller actually called when I talked to him last week, after they got the approval that, the probate and everything has been done, he was like, hey man, that was 2 years ago. I heard the market's changed, so you think I can honor that first contract we done, the 39? And I'm like, hey man, we had a deal. It's been 2 years, I know the contract expired, and I kind of turn you on to all my connections. But one thing I know, they incur fees with that. So, having to get a probate attorney to, come in, handle the probate, get everything cleared. So, if the numbers make sense, why wouldn't I honor that? If it's a deal for me, that's how you build long-term success. You got to be flexible in, in certain situations. Obviously, yes, I want to be as cheap as possible, but a deal is a deal. If I got to come back in and, spend an extra well, in this case, another $4,500, $5,500, then it makes sense. So, just showing you this is another deal that I'm gonna go ahead and call the seller. Man, look, nothing's changed. Property's in the same condition. Let's continue, and we'll have this closed before the end of the month. So, just want to show y'all, man. I mean, one thing I always talk about is networking, and also you have to follow up. Follow up is key, and also going the extra mile. Going the extra mile with giving a person more than what the next person is going to do. And it's very critical when you can, customer service. The customer is always right, and not to say that, the customer is, typically paying for something, but in this case, the customer would be the actual seller, and not that I do it on a whole lot of occasions, but in this particular situation, I'm going to give the guy what he asked for. It's been 2 years, the market has changed, and I'm definitely going to put a step up with this, whether we sell it as is or we come in and remodel it and put it back on the market. I definitely think I can get probably 3-2, nice yard. I can fix this up and probably get 100 grand, if not more. Probably put 25 into it, and definitely think I can get, hit that 100 grand mark on this one. So this might turn out to be a nice payday, and but you got to go the extra mile, by me actually turning him on to a probate attorney, getting making sure the connection was there with them, making sure the title company did everything in their powers, and letting them know that, I'm flexible. I know what we agreed to in the past. Let me just put eyes back on it and see what I can do. So, and that's what you got to do sometimes. That's definitely what you got to do. And at the end of the day, I think this will be a deal that we move forward with, get it done, and update you as far as how that process went. But you got to do the follow-up, got to network, and you got to make sure that you give the customer or your seller or anybody that you look to either get value from, whether that's business value, referral value. You go the extra mile, man. You got to go the extra mile. So, hopefully this will turn into a referral-based client, You know, he's out of state, but the relations, how I treated them and dealt with them, will have a long-lasting impression, and ultimately, he'll refer me to other people, whether it's family, friends, or so-and-so. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll give you an update. It's your boy, Majah Vernon, Majah, aka Mr. Money Man, aka I do real estate, showing you that persistence and consistency will still get you deals. Network, get out there, bleed the block, grind, eat it up, and don't stop. Believe in yourself, you can do it. You're looking at somebody who knew nothing about real estate literally 9 years ago to doing, you know the story. So see y'all on the next video, man. Peace out. Hopefully if you found some good use of this content, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it, and hit me up with some topics. If y'all got a topic, I can only share what I know, and if I don't know, I'll find somebody who do. So it's your boy. See y'all on the next one. Peace.